How we know the Earth does not rotate, you ask? The notion that we live on a globe comes down to models that have been presented to us to explain the motion of lights in the sky. This globular belief system has two fundamental prerequisites that must be true for the Earth to truly be a sphere, ellipsoid, pear-shaped, etc., in space. 1. Sidereal rotation. The Earth must rotate 15 degrees per hour. 2. Seasonal and asymmetrical analemma. The Earth must orbit the Sun at 30 kilometers per second. Of those two things, only one has been measured, and it's a first-order measurement. It requires no assumptions or corrections. The implication of all interferometry experiments ever conducted in the history of physics shows that the Earth is stationary with respect to an ether wind. These experiments are first-order measurements of the translation of motion of the sidereal rotation of the sky. Only through second-order corrections such as the Lorentz factor, denoted by gamma, provides coordinate system corrections to first-order measurements to ad hoc impose the contraction of space, x-axis, and the dilation of time, t-axis, to reify Earth's assumed motion through an etherless void that allows the propagation of electromagnetic waves to propagate at their maximum speed of 299,792,458 meters per second squared. Michelson-Morley, Michealson-Gale-Pearson, Sagnac, Dayton Miller was all measuring the same thing, a variance in c that corresponds to the sidereal rotation of the sky. The mathematics used to derive the variance in c and interpret the fringe patterns explicitly has only ever matched the sidereal rotation. All three experiments are the same, but only in Michelson-Morley are the second-order gamma corrections made to impose a mathematics interpretation of motion where there is none by creating an indirect measurement to what was already a first-order measurement. If you don't use de Lorentz transformation, then Michelson-Morley measured the exact same sidereal rotation everyone else did subsequent to him. In respect to, 2. Every first-order measurement taken using interferometry proves we live on a stationary, non-rotating Earth. In 2004, Ruyong Wang cleared up the misinterpretation of the Sagnac effect, which was attributed to angular rotation. Wang's experiment conclusively proves that the Earth is stationary with respect to an ether wind that follows the direction of the sky east-west. Previously, the Sagnac effect was due to angular rotation, using general relativity to account for the fringe produced by a rotating device through the mechanism of converting the rotational energy into length. Contraction and dilation is shown to be inadequate since the effect persistent in linear, non-rotating devices, and even the assumed effects of Earth rotation are cancelled out. Further pointed out by Wang. GPS range measurement equation and ECI reference frame, the stationary, non-rotating frame used to measure the relative one-way speed of light against a fixed position, shows that the speed of light is dependent on the velocity of the observer. This direct contradiction of special relativity is profound for two reasons. It invalidates the framework on its two postulates: 1, all internal reference frames are equally valid, and that 2, the speed of light is independent of the motion of the source or observers. Without the relativistic framework of interpretation on the speed of c, the natural and logical conclusion from all interferometry is that we live stationary with respect to the sky. Further, Dayton Miller made 5,200,000 measurements that, when plotted against sidereal time, showing a fluctuation in translation speed of the ether wind where his fringe shift patterns reached their minimum and maximum dimensions on the equinoxes to the day, with respect to a stationary Earth. Meaning he measured the fluctuation of the translational speed of the Sun necessary for it to maintain angular velocity of 15 degrees per hour while the Sun is in its respective side of the plane. Michelson's and Miller's work has been replicated by Dufour, Galive, and Munera. Modern interferometry claims to be more precise, accurately showing no fringe shift pattern. The implication being that speed of light is the same and mm's initial null was the incorrect interpretation. An interpretation which reifies Einstein's mathematics. However, in modern times, interferometry is showing a trend towards zero for the fringe pattern. This is explicitly noted by Miller and DeLeve in their work. Null results can be forced by changing the local of the detection sensor in the apparatus, by altering the length of the arms of the apparatus, or by altering the medium of the tubes the light is propagating in. These tactics perpetrated here exactly what would need to be done to force nulls and reify relativity theory. With no mechanism to explain a variance in the speed of light through relativistic means, which are all second-order effects anyways, the measurements contradicting Earth's assumed motion can't be rectified. Earth's motion can no longer be assumed because the underlying model that supports it can also be explained from a geocentric position with equal validity in terms of observations. Observationally, we can make models about the sky and our place in that model. Experimentally, we can verify the prerequisites of the model to discern its validity. If the prerequisites do not hold true, would it be logical to further build foundational assumptions based on false premise? Only through incoherent mathematical theory and imagination can our experimentally proven and measured motionless Earth be made into an insignificant rock spinning in an infinite void in perpetuity that may or may not be expanding at varying rates, depending on which mathematic dogma you subscribe to. Given that all experimental evidence directly contradicts the fundamental prerequisites of the heliocentric model 1, Earth's rotation, and 2, Earth's orbital velocity, the logical conclusion, following reductio ad absurdum, it would be unreasonable to assert that we live on a rotating sphere that's also in motion around an object that's 93 million miles away when all scientific evidence a local sun that facilitates a translation of motion of the sky down to Earth in the form of giving a boost in speed, or reduction, to electromagnetic propagation, as it's following the direction of momentum of the sky east-west. The implications here are profound. When you look up at the night sky, the universe is truly revolving around you.